Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In today's class, we are going to discuss structuralism in linguistics. You must have studied structuralism in your history of English literature, or the teacher must have taught you this, the teacher of Introduction to Literary Studies. Fine. But we are going to discuss it from the perspective of linguistics, structuralism. So, let's talk about first about Ferdinand de Saussure. Some people call him de Saussure, some other people call him de Saussure, fine, and some people call him de Saussure, like multiple pronunciations of the same names we have got. Okay, so Ferdinand de Saussure, he was born in 1857 and he died in 1913, and he is known as the father of modern linguistics as well as the father of structuralism in linguistics. Okay, uh, why we are talking about Ferdinand de Saussure rather than structuralism in linguistics? Because the founding father of structuralism was this gentleman. Okay, he contributed to the English linguistics in that era, and you may say that he was the founder of the modern linguistics. Like the modern linguistics started with the contribution of Ferdinand de Saussure. He delivered certain lectures, and then those lectures were compiled by his colleagues and his two ex-students, and they gave those lectures the name of a book, the form of a book. Fine, they published those lectures in the form of a book, and the name of that book was Course in General Linguistics. It was published in 1916, and from that onward the modern linguistics started. So let's compare the former approaches towards linguistics with the modern linguistics, which was started by Ferdinand de Saussure. So in the former approaches, people used to consider all the various linguistic items to be, separate individual entities. Like people believed that these entities did not have any connection with one another. Like to them, language was like a box, okay, and there were words inside a language, grammatical structures, and speech sounds. But all these things, people used to put these things in the box of the language separately, individually. If you can see, there is no link between them. Okay, so people used to consider all these linguistic features to be separate entities, to be separate features having no link with one another. Okay, so this was the former approach of linguistics. Then when the modern linguistics started with obviously with the contribution of Ferdinand de Saussure, so what happened? People, they started considering language to be a chain of all these various features. Okay, like if you look at speech sounds, the one with brown color, their speech sounds. Okay, then the one with larger brown color, these circles, okay, these entities, they are words, lexical items. Here we can see them. Okay, because individual words, when they are combined together, so they formulate larger words. And then we have grammatical structures. If you can see these objects, okay, now if you can see the links between them, here we have these links. Okay, can you see these lines? So this is how, like, according to the modern linguistics, the structure of language, it is something very complex. Language is a very complex things, because the individual words and the individual speech sounds, the individual speech sounds, they are combined together to formulate words, but they are combined together under certain rules, under certain constraints. Okay, in the same way, if you look at the words, then So words are, if you can see this word here, word number one, word number two, and then we have, for example, the inflectional morphemes. So they are combined together, they are linked together with the help of certain grammatical rules. So it means that language is a very complex phenomenon according to the Ferdinand de Saussure's structuralism, or according to the modern linguistics. Language is a very complex phenomenon, in all the ingredients, all the components of a language are, you know, very closely linked to one another. They are not separate entities. So this was one of the differences between the former approaches towards linguistics and the approach of Ferdinand de Saussure, or the approach of structuralist or modern linguists. Okay. Uh, Moving to his ideas, the ideas of Ferdinand de Saussure about linguistics. So, according to him, language is a system of signs that express ideas. Okay, according to him, language consists of, a language is made up of certain signs, and those signs express ideas. Now, what is meant by sign? Like his entire idea revolves around the concept of sign. Okay, he says simply that language is a system of signs. There are signs all around in the language. Okay, language is made up of signs. And what sort of signs? Signs that express ideas. So what is sign according to him? So far we are clear about language, that it's a system of signs which that express idea. But what sign is actually? So the linguistic sign, according to Ferdinand de Saussure, is made of the union of a concept and sound image. Okay, signs are words, simply you may say. It's okay, it's okay if you're late. Okay, good. So a sign, now if you look at a sign is made of a union of a concept and a sound image. Two things are there inside a sign. Okay, the first thing is a concept, number one, concept, and number two, a sound image. Sound image means a written or spoken word. Fine. If I say, for example, democracy, look at the word democracy, the way I write it. Okay, it's spelling simply. So a written word democracy, or spoken word, if I say in spoken language democracy. So this is a sound image. Okay, a written or spoken word. Now we have a concept associated with this word. Okay, the concept of democracy, that where people elect their own leader, like simply the government of people, for the people, by the people. This is what we simply call democracy. Okay, so we have the concept of democracy, that there is a leader, and that leader is elected by the people themselves, and that leader works for the welfare of those people. So this is the basic concept of democracy. Now we have a word, the word democracy, either in written form or in spoken form, and we have the concept of democracy. Combinedly, when these things are united, when these two things are combined together, they formulate a sign. Okay, so the sign democracy consists, embeds in itself the word democracy, the written or spoken word, as well as the concept of democracy. Okay, same as the case with laptop, for example. Laptop, like we have the word laptop, L-A-P-T-O-P, the spelling laptop. Okay, or the speech sounds laptop, the spoken word laptop. Okay, so this is the sound image. And we have the concept of laptop, that laptop is an electronic device which processes data, which consists of a screen and keyboard and hard drive, RAM and processor, and so on and so forth. Fine. Okay, so this is the concept of a laptop. We have the concept of a laptop inside our mind, okay? And we have the written or spoken word, which is this one, laptop. Now the combination of this written or spoken word, which is called a sound image, the combination of this word and the combination of the concept of the laptop, combinedly they both of these two formulate a sign, okay? The sign of a laptop. So a sign, we may say that a sign is the combination of a signifier and a signified, okay? A sign is a combination of a signifier and a signified. Now, according to Ferdinand de Saussure, according to this structuralist, this gentleman, modern linguist, signifier is the sound image. I mean, signifier is the written or spoken word. The written or the spoken word. On the other hand, signified is the concept which is associated with this signifier, okay, with this written or spoken word. Let me give you some visual examples in order to further explain this thing and to make it further clear. We have the word dog, okay. The word dog, a sign consists of a signifier and a signified, as I told you. So we have the sign dog, okay. Now inside this sign we have got a signifier and a signified. So the signifier can be either the written word like dog, okay, the spelling, or the spoken word, like in spoken form we may write it phonetically like this, d o and g sound, dog. Now this written or spoken form, this is called the signifier, this is called the sound image. And then we have the signified. Signified means this object, okay, the concept of a dog inside our mind. Clear? So combinedly, when a signifier and a signified, when they are combined together, they formulate the sign dog. And language is, keep in mind, it is a combination of signs, okay, it is a system of signs. So coming to another example, we have the word, we have the sign cat, okay, this complete, this is entirely completely, this is a sign, okay. Now as if I'm coming to you, now this sign consists of a signifier and a signified. A signifier is a written or spoken word. So when we write it in written form, it is like this, CAT, and if we speak it in spoken form right now, I'm uttering it, Kate. Okay, so it is like this, Kate. So this is a spoken form and this is the written form. This is called the sign, okay, the signifier. This is called the signifier, the sound image. On the other hand, we have got the signified. Signified means the, simply you may say, the thing or the idea to which the signifier refers to which the signifier refers to, or you may say the meaning of the signifier. So its meaning is a cat, okay, in an animal which is usually a pet. We, you know, make it live with us in our home, okay, same is the case with the dog. Now if you look at the last example, tree, so TREE. Okay, this complete word tree, its pronunciation or its spelling as well its meaning combinedly, this is the sign of a tree. Okay, now this sign in consists, it embeds in itself two things. The first one, signifier. The second thing, the signified. Signifier is either its written form or its spoken form, like tree, the pronunciation, or the spelling TREE. This is the signifier. And signified is, you know, an object which is mostly green in color, and it has got certain roots in a stem and then branches and leaves, and usually bears some fruits and flowers. So this is the concept of a tree inside our mind, okay. Now when this concept and this written or spoken word, when they are combined together, so combinedly they formulate the sign of a tree. Is this clear so far, Asif Ali?
Yes, sir, clear. Huh?
Okay, any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Let's move ahead towards some other ideas of Ferdinand de Saussure relating to the signifier and signified. Arbitrariness. He says, Ferdinand de Saussure says, that there is no relationship between this signifier and this signified. Do you remember arbitrariness from characteristics of human language or designed features of human language? Do you remember arbitrariness from there? I hope you do. Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay, okay. Now look at this. Arbitrariness means that simply the relationship between signifier and a signified is arbitrary. Okay, arbitrary means that there is no direct relationship between a signifier and a signified. There is no one-to-one relationship between a signifier and a signified. Like if you look at this, the word dog, okay, this sign, inside this sign we have got the spelling dog or the pronunciation dog. Now this word, this signifier has no direct connection, no direct relationship between dog, okay, uh, except some onomatopoeic words. Onomatopoeic words, for example, if I say the hissing sound of a snake. Now hiss and the sound of a snake, they have got a direct relationship. Okay, if I say the word does, for example, in Urdu or Pashto, does. Now the word does, the pronunciation does, and its meaning, its concept, the concept of a blast. Okay, so when that blast occurs, that blast also performs the very same kind of sound. So it means that there can be a direct relationship. Okay, or look at the buzzing sound, the buzzing sound. Okay, when there is a honeybee and that buzzes in your ear. Now when a honeybee or a mosquito comes near your ears, okay, and it starts producing that buzz, that buzzing sound. Okay, and the word we have here, the signifier, the signifier is buzz. Okay, now if you look at this signifier buzz and its meaning is that buzzing sound, buzz, that sound which a honeybee or a mosquito or a housefly creates in our ears. Okay, now this meaning, this sound, or you may say this concept, the concept of the buzzing of a honeybee, and its word, the word which is used to refer to that concept, these two have got a direct relationship because both of them are pronounced the same. Okay, so now in case of onomatopoeic words, there is a direct relationship. But if we look at the word dog, okay, the word dog, and we look at this object, there is no direct connection, because had there been any direct connection between these two terms, then people all over the world will will refer to this object with the same name, with the same word dog. But this is not the case, because the English people call it dog, the Urdu people call it, sort of word, sorry, the word might sound informal, the word kutta. In the Pashto language, we call it spay. Similarly, in the Arabic language, people call it kalb. Now, look at all the words we have in the Arabic language. We have kalb, okay. Uh, in the Urdu language, we have got this word, okay. So if you look at this word kalb, it has got no direct connection, no direct relationship or no direct connection with this object, with this concept, okay, which is in our mind. Now look at the word kuta, again it is no connection, direct connection with this object. And similarly dog, dog, it is no direct connection with this object. Okay, that is why Ferdinand de Saussure says that there is no direct connection between signifiers and signified. Okay, simply there is no direct connection between the spoken or written words and their meanings, their concepts, the concepts which are tied to them, or the concepts which are associated with those written or spoken words. Okay, so there is no direct connection, no direct relationship between words and their meanings, no direct connection between signifier and signified, and this is what he calls arbitrariness. Is this clear? G.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir, but sir, there is one question that's rising on my mind is that we use signifier and signified. There is no direct connection with each other.
G.
So if we use a word, for example, we use dog. So
Okay.
that means we think the name that dog. So directly we think that the dog is mean the
Okay.
object we will be think.
Okay, good, good.
Uh,
So
so
you want to ask that
there is a
where does
direct
this
connection.
relation?
So
Okay,
there
okay,
is shows the direct connection with the object and the
okay,
signifier.
okay, good, okay. Let me
Yes, sir.
clarify the point in two steps. Um, Step number one. Okay, your question is about the direct relationship. Look at, for example, if I ask an English person, okay, or if I ask an English person, do you know, or if I tell him there is a kutta in the park, will he be able to understand this word?
No.
No, sir.
No, because there is no direct connection between this word and its meaning, it signifies. Now, how do we people come to know immediately, as you said, that like whenever we hear this word, immediately what comes to our mind is an object like this. Okay, now it is actually an agreed upon decision. We have already agreed on the term that this word will refer to this particular object only, this particular object. Okay, so there was no direct connection between, like when Pashto language was not there, or the Urdu language was not there, and the word kutta, this word was also not, in existence. So when people started using the Urdu language, okay, they formulated the Urdu language gradually with the passage of time, when they started using it, and they they come across this word. Initially this word had got no connection with this object, with the object dog, but later on people specified this word for this object. Okay, let me give you a modern example. The word zapier, for example, zapier. Okay, we use this name to refer to a particular application. Zapier is an application used in smartphones and laptops with which people transfer data, okay, from one device to another. Now the word zapier, this name was not there initially, then people invented this name, okay, and they with an agreed upon decision, people specified this name for a particular application, for a particular software. Okay, and from that onward, whenever we hear the word zapier, what comes to our mind is that particular software, though there is no direct connection between the word zapier and the application which I have got here. Let me show you the application if someone is not familiar with this. Can you see this one, Zapier?
Yes, sir.
This is the
Yes,
Zapier
sir.
application. Okay. Now look at the word Zapier, Zapia, and this application. There is no direct connection between these two things. The signifier is the word Zapier, while the signified is the application, actually the software. So there is no direct connection. Rather, people have over an agreed upon decision. We know that Zapier, the signified for the signifier Zapier is that application. So there is no direct connection. Rather, we have decided, human beings have made an agreement that the word dog will refer to this object, okay, the word cat will refer to this object, and the word tree will refer to this object. Just as I give you the example of kutta, that, or a tree, if you ask an English person, I want to see a darakht, I want to see a dracht. Fine. So the English people will say, what are you talking about? Because he does not know what does this word refer to. Okay. If had there been any direct connection between the word dracht and this object, so he would have immediately pointed out to a tree and he would have told you that this is dracht. But since there is no direct connection between, the word dracht and this object, that is why Ferdinand de Saussure says that there is no direct connection between, the signifier and the signified. I hope this is clear now.
So we use, sir, these words that we consider that person or that people that they have the less of knowledge. On that way they use, like if an English person we ask kutta, so it's mean he don't know about the Urdu word.
He does
On
not
that
know
way there is no particular connection.
exactly. Like it, there is
If
no
a person
natural
who
connection.
know about the,
Ji,
if a
ji.
person who know about the Urdu, who know about the Pashto, who know about Arabic, who know about the English, so what then he
Oh,
will be useful.
okay, okay. You further specify the question, specified it, so let me specify the answer. Okay, there is, as I told you, there is no direct connection. Now let me use, in order to answer your question, let me use the word nasal, Asad. Nasal. There is no nasal connection between a signifier and a signified. Nasal connection, for example, if I say, if I ask an English person, for example, have you seen a meow meow? Okay, or have you seen a gob gob? So maybe he says, he replies, yes, he has seen it. Okay, meow meow, because the meow meow, the word meow meow, this is, if I say, if I write the word meow meow, and if I look at its concept, its meaning, the meow meow sound created by a cat. Okay, so there is a sort of, though not completely, but a sort of natural connection is there between the written word meow meow and its meaning, the sound which is actually created by a cat. Okay, so this connection is, it is a natural connection, a very natural. But if I ask him, have you seen a pisho? He will say, what are you talking about? Because the word pisho, it is no natural connection with this object, same is the case with cat and same is the case with billy. Okay, now there is no direct connection between the word pisheo and this object, and there can be a direct connection between meow meow and the, the this object or the sounds which this object produces. Okay, so the direct connection, it's not, because of the lack of knowledge, rather it's all about the natural connection between a signifier and a signified, between an object and its, between a word, a written or spoken word, and the concept associated with that word. Okay, so it's all about a natural connection. Since in this case, the word meow meow and its meaning meow meow, it's from the actual sound produced by a cat. So this written word and its meaning, they have got a natural connection between them. So if I ask an English person, have you seen a meow meow? I create that sound, the sound of a cat. So maybe he may reply, yes, there is a meow meow over there. Okay, or there is a cat over there. Like he will understand my message because there is a direct connection between, a nasal connection between the word meow meow and its concept, the sounds of a cat. On the other hand, if you look at this word cat and this object, then there is no direct connection. Rather, it is a connection which is created by man himself. Okay, not by the nature. Clear now?
Sir,
Ji.
arbitrary we use in my mind it's depend upon sounds which are
E-
produced.
Exactly. Arbitrariness is all about sounds because language is primarily, language primarily consists speech sounds. Written language, it is come quite later on. Okay, the natural language is actually the spoken
Yes, sir.
language. Okay, so if I ask an English person, have you seen a billy? He will say, what are you talking about? Okay, but if I ask an English person, have you seen a meow meow? So he may reply, yes, there is a meow meow over there. Because there is a direct connection between the word meow meow and its actual meaning. Okay, the sounds of a cat. So it's all about a natural connection. Okay, so Ferdinand de
Yes.
Saussure says there is no one-to-one relationship, there is no direct relationship, there is no natural relationship between a signifier and a signified. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now let's go ahead in the very same discussion. Ferdinand de Saussure opines that there is no fixity in meaning. Like meaning is not fixed. There is no fixity in meaning. It means meaning is not fixed. Okay. According to him, there are no intrinsic, there are no fixed meanings in words. Meanings are not fixed. Okay. Like if I say, for example, tree. So what comes to your mind? A tree. But the tree can be any kind of tree. There is no specific kind of tree. Okay. If I say mobile phone, so then there come to your mind so many shapes of mobile phones, various shapes of mobile phones. In the same way, when we hear the word tree, so some people may imagine this tree. To some other people, this concept of tree will come into their mind. Some other people may imagine this one. Some people may imagine this tree. Like we have got so many shapes, so many sub concepts of the concept tree. Okay, that is why he says that the meaning in words is not intrinsic. The meanings in language simply is not fixed. Okay, there is no fixed meaning at all. Meaning is not fixed. Another meanings and concepts, they vary from individual to individual, and this it is based on the experience of individuals. Okay, like if I utter the word dog, so to the mind, in the mind of us, maybe a dog, a hunting dog, that concept may comes in the mind of Asad, while Rahmat Ali may talk of some other kind of dog. Okay, um, uh, Nurul Inzi, they may think of some other kind of dog. That is why had there been any fixity in meaning, okay, had there been any fixity in language, like if meaning was fixed, then when I had uttered the word tree, all of you would have imagined the very same tree. Okay, but since there is no fixity in meaning, since meaning is not fixed, that is why whenever I utter the word tree, so different kinds of trees come to your mind. If I say the main gate of a home, the main gate of a house, so to my mind, a gate of a different color, a different shape, and a different size will come. Okay, in the mind of Asad, a different kind of gate will be there. Emil Saddam is there, so in the mind of Emil Saddam, some different kind of gate will be there, a gate of different color, different shape, and different size will be there. So that is why this gentleman opines, Ferdinand de Saussure opines, that there is no fixity in language, like meaning is not fixed. Okay, J. Emil Saddam, any question? Emil Saddam, I'm sorry, we cannot hear you. There is only the buzzing sound.
I think he is giving an example for us.
Maybe. Ji, Emil Saddam, you may kindly ask your question in chat because your sound is not audible to anyone. That is just a buzzing sound, the example which I just provided to you. Okay. You may ask your question
Sir,
kindly in chat.
tell them to
Ji?
tell them not I am talking the student ones, sir. The students, they
Okay.
mute their mic.
Okay, all of you, could you please turn off your microphones so that Emil Saddam may talk? Ji, Emil Saddam. That question is not Emil Saddam. I'll address your question later on. That is not related to structural linguistics. Okay. Okay, good. So let's move ahead. Language constitutes our world. According to De Saussure, language constitutes our world. Language creates our world. How? Because language exists, thought exists. It means thoughts cannot exist without language. Though there is a controversy, like we have a model which you will study in your second semester in socio and sociolinguistics, the model proposed by Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Okay, so you will study it over there that whether thoughts do exist without language or not. There are some thoughts which may exist without language as well, but overall uh, language does not exist without or thoughts do not exist without language. Okay, like because the word freedom exists, we understand the concept, the word freedom. Okay, we have this concept in our minds, the concept of freedom, because of the word, the term, the signifier and the signified. Okay, the signifier exists, freedom. That is why we have the concept of freedom in our mind. Okay, had there been no word, there would have been no concept of freedom. Okay, similarly, look at democracy, look at psychology, look at linguistics. Linguistics has got so many concepts. For example, the concept of arbitrariness. We understand this concept, we have this concept in our minds because we have formulated the word arbitrariness. Okay, we have got only a few seconds, so kindly let's start another session, a session of 15 minutes only. Join the same session again, please.